Out of all the monuments, I personally believe that the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial is the most important memorial. Martin Luther King Jr. fought for African American rights and equality. He even took his last breath fighting for what was right.
So there are many really cool memorials in DC, but the Holocaust Memorial Museum is probably the most important to me, partially because of my Jewish heritage. Also, we studied it in humanities this year and discovered how many deaths there were and also all the psychological effects it had on not only survivors but also others around the world.
If I were to build a monument, it'd be to the people who promoted and launched space exploration in the United States.
My favorite monument in DC is the Jefferson Memorial because it's iconic, it's the location of the Cherry Blossom Festival, and it commemorates my favorite president.
There are many monuments and memorials in Washington I would like to see, especially the Lincoln Memorial since we are learning about the Civil War in social studies.
And the monument to Lincoln. I chose it because he was the one who liberated the slaves in the United States.
I think that the Lincoln Memorial might be the most important memorial in Washington, D.C. because of the significant role that Abraham Lincoln played in U.S. history.
And one of my favorite memorials is the Vietnam War Memorial because it's greatly designed and it really shows how many people died to try to stop the spread of communism.
My favorite one is probably the Jefferson Memorial. I really like how it's constructed and its design.
The monument that is most important to me is the Lincoln Memorial. It's great to honor his contribution to ending slavery.
Since Mother's Day is coming up, I would like to build a monument honoring all the mothers in the U.S.
I think the most important monument there is the Lincoln Memorial because it symbolizes equality and freedom for everyone. If I could build my own memorial though, I think I'd make one recognizing young people who created change because they're just as important as adults.
The monument I suggest they should build would be the Benjamin Franklin Memorial because in addition to him being a founding father, he was also a scientist.
To me, the most important monument in Washington, D.C. is the Albert Einstein Memorial because he shaped our understanding of the universe.
If I could build a new monument or memorial, I would build a monument for all the people who worked behind the scenes at NASA and allowed for the amazing technological advances that were made and are still being made today.
If I could build a new monument, it would be for Antoine Lavoisier. This is because he revolutionized chemistry and deserves recognition.
If I could build a new monument, I would dedicate it to Willis Carrier because he invented one of the most loved inventions ever, air conditioning.
If I could create another monument in Washington, D.C., it would be one that celebrates humanity's greatest scientific achievements. It would include a timeline of all these achievements and the noble people who helped us get there.
I will build a monument in dedication to the innovators and thinkers of history, as without them we wouldn't have the technology we take for granted today.
If I could build a new monument, I would build one for Eleanor Roosevelt. She has done a lot for our country, along with Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and deserves a place in D.C. to celebrate her life and service to our nation.
Lincoln Memorial is very important to me. Lincoln was a great leader and represented many righteous ideals like equality of all men. The Lincoln Memorial brings deserving honor to Abraham Lincoln.
If I could build one important memorial, I would build the Marie Curie Memorial. Nobel Prize winner Marie Curie changed the views of the roles of women in science, and this impacts us even today.
If I had to design a new one, it would probably be a flaming globe that looked like it was covered in oil, to mark a time when the world as we knew it looked like it would end, and a reminder to future generations not to do anything like ignoring a similar disaster.
I would build a monument to women of science such as Katherine Johnson, Sally Ride, Hedy Lamarr, and Grace Hopper.
I think I would build a monument to celebrate immigrants from all over the world because the U.S. is really made up of people who came from elsewhere and settled here in hopes of a better future.
If I could build a monument, I would build one honoring Norman Borlaug. He was an agricultural scientist who developed varieties of wheat that were resistant to stem rust, a disease that killed most, if not all, wheat farmers planted. These varieties helped save over 1 billion people from starvation. However, Borlaug's achievements are often overlooked, and much fewer people know him than, say, Albert Einstein. Therefore, I think he deserves a monument of his own.
If
If I were to build a new monument, I would build a monument of education because education is very important to me and I wouldn't be participating in this challenge without it.